Good morning. This is Tapping Along with Annette with Dr. Annette Valancourt. I didn't know what it was I was going to tap about today until I pulled a muscle in my shoulder. So I guess we're going to tap a little bit about pain today. And I also want to tell you a couple stories about how I've used tapping for pain. I tend to bruise very easily. I don't know if it's because I take a baby aspirin every day or it's just my makeup. But in simple people, I say people could look at me funny and I'll bruise, physically bruise. And a couple weeks ago in karate class, I was demonstrating that I was having struggle jumping, and I jumped to demonstrate this and promptly fell on my head. I fell backwards and hit the back of my head, and I thought I knocked myself out. And normally I would expect a big goose egg and or a tender spot, that sort of thing. But immediately I started tapping about smacking my head against the floor. And my sensei at the time, this was in karate class, I had him go get me some ice, and I just tapped until I felt like my brain stopped spinning and the pain in my head subsided. And it was maybe about 5-10 minutes, and then I got up and proceeded with my karate lesson. And what was really amazing to me was later that night, I didn't have a goose egg or bruise or even any tenderness on the back of my head, nor did I have a headache or any of the other signs of concussion. So that was one amazing result from tapping as far as physical pain. Another one, very similar, was last winter with all the ice storms. There was a thick coat of icing on the stairs going downstairs from my office, and my footing went right out from under me, and I slipped and fell on my right hip. And again, as soon as I landed, I started tapping about the pain in my hip because I had fallen on that hip before, and I was thinking, oh, gracious, now I'm going to injure that again. And I tapped and I tapped and I tapped, and sure enough, not only did the pain subside, but there was absolutely no bruising. And that was really remarkable given that 6 months before I'd fallen on that same hip and I had a bruise that was that big and dark, ugly, black and purple and yellow and all those things. So there's something to this whole tapping for pain and for swift healing of injuries. So I pulled a muscle in my shoulder this morning, just reaching for something. So it's going down, but I'd say it's about a 3 in discomfort at this point. So I invite you to tap along with me as I teach a little bit and tap for this pain in my shoulder. So we're going to create a tapping statement that says, even though I have this pain in my left shoulder blade, I deeply love and accept myself. So we're going to repeat that aloud and say along with me, even though this may not be your issue, you may have other physical, and see, it even hurts to raise my arm a little bit. So even though I have this stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have this stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I stretched the wrong way or pulled something in my left shoulder blade, I deeply love and accept myself. Now we're going to tap 7 times on these various points. This one's called the top of the head, and I bunch my fingers together like this and tap right on the tender part of the top of the head. This pain in my left shoulder blade. And 2 fingers tap the inside of the eyebrow. This stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade. Outside the eyebrow, this stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade. Under the eye, this pinching pain in my left shoulder blade. See, it's important to describe not only the intensity of the pain, but the location of it and the quality of it. So for this, it feels like somebody's stabbing me or something's pinching. So I'm using those words. This pinching pain under my left shoulder blade. This pinching pain under my left shoulder blade. Collarbone point. This pinching pain under my left shoulder blade. Under the arm. This pinching pain in my left shoulder blade. Top of the head. And I'm going to throw in some different things. How could I be so stupid? Inside the eyebrow. I didn't mean to hurt myself. Outside the eyebrow. I was just going about my morning routine. Under the eye. And then all of a sudden, I felt this pain. You ever get those pains that just, you reach for something and you pull the muscle in your back or something? Those are so frustrating. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated that I have this stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade. This stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade. Starting to feel calmer already. I felt like I was going to faint earlier. The stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade. Top of the head. This impingement in my left shoulder blade. It feels like I can't move it very well. This impingement in my left shoulder blade. Outside the eyebrow. This impingement in my left shoulder blade. Under the eye. This impingement in my left shoulder blade. Under the nose. It's hanging me up. It hurts to breathe. It hurts to breathe. This impingement in my left shoulder blade. Oh, that even feels better. I couldn't raise my arm that high before. This impingement in my left shoulder blade. It hurts to breathe. What if the tapping doesn't help? That's something people always think. Under the eyes. What if the tapping doesn't help? Notice the sighs and the yawns. This is a sign to me that the energy is shifting. What if the tapping doesn't help? Chin point. And I really screwed up my shoulder. Collarbone point. What if the tapping doesn't help? Under the arm. And I've really screwed up my shoulder. I can do that before. There's a little pull there. Okay. This pulling in my left shoulder blade. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. Under the eye. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. I feel a little tension in my neck too. This tension in my neck and my left trapezius. I think that's what that muscle's called. This tightness in my left trapezius. Under the arm. This tightness in my left trapezius. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. Outside the eye. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. Under the eye. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. I gotta switch arms. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. It doesn't really matter what hand you tap with. I just get tired. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. This pulling and tightness in my left shoulder blade. Collarbone point. I'm afraid I really hurt something. Under the arm. I'm afraid I really hurt something. Top of the head. I'm afraid I really hurt something. But what if it's just a little stitch? Outside the eyebrow. What if it's just a little stitch from temporary? What if it's a temporary stitch? What if it's a temporary stitch in my shoulder blade? I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. I'm ready to release the stitch in my side. It's actually in my back. I'm ready to release the stitch in my back. This temporary stitch in my back. This temporary stitch in my back. Under the eye, this temporary stitch in my back. Just this little pull I did. Accidentally. Still hurts a little bit when I breathe. Under the arm. Still hurts a little bit when I breathe. Still hurts a little bit when I breathe. I notice myself kind of tensing around it. I'm tensing around the pain. I'm tensing around the pain. I choose calm and relaxation instead. I send healing energy to that particular spot under my left shoulder blade. I send healing energy to that spot under my left shoulder blade. I send healing, for some reason I see it as golden or honey-colored energy. I'm sending golden honey-colored energy to heal my shoulder blade. I'm sending golden healing energy to my left shoulder blade. I'm sending golden healing energy to my left shoulder blade. I'm sending golden, that's hard to say, sending golden healing energy to my left shoulder blade. Healing energy to my left shoulder blade. Under the arm. Healing energy to my left shoulder blade. Okay, now let's test it and see how it's doing. It still hurts a little bit when I push it forward. I'm going to twist a little bit. Okay, so even though it's not done, we go back here. Even though I still have some of this discomfort in my left shoulder blade, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I still have some of this discomfort in my left shoulder blade, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I still have some of this discomfort and a slight headache, I deeply love and accept myself. Okay, top of the head. There's still some of this discomfort in my left shoulder blade. Still some of this discomfort in my left shoulder blade. This stabbing pain in my left shoulder blade, under my left shoulder blade. It's important that you're accurate in the location of it. This stabbing feeling under my left shoulder blade. This stabbing feeling beneath my left shoulder blade. In the middle of my back, under my shoulder blade. In the middle of my back, under my shoulder blade. All my body's resources are going to heal it. The necessary resources in my body are going to heal this. Even though it still hurts a little bit. Even though it still hurts a little bit. This remaining pain. 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 I feel encouraged when I feel those sighs and yawns come in. This remaining pain in my shoulder blade. This remaining impingement in my shoulder blade. I'm wiggling around because I feel like things are loosening up or shifting. This remaining pain in my shoulder blade. Oh, and that's another important thing. Sometimes when you're working with pain, the pain will shift around in your body. Gary Craig calls it chasing the pain out of the body, and that's maybe why I feel a little stiffness in my neck and a little bit of a headache. This remaining pain in my left shoulder blade. 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 All of a sudden I feel sad. This sadness in my left shoulder blade. This sadness in my left shoulder blade. This sadness in my left shoulder blade. I'm remembering having frozen shoulder in that shoulder blade. And I feel sad about that. I feel sad. This sadness in my shoulder blade. This sadness in my shoulder blade. This sadness in my shoulder blade. This restriction in my shoulder blade. This restriction in my shoulder blade. This restriction in my left shoulder blade. This restriction in my left shoulder blade. This restriction in my left shoulder blade. I wonder how long it will take to heal. I wonder how long it will take to heal. I wonder how long it will take to heal. I wonder what it is I need to release. Maybe I need to release this sadness. Maybe I need to release this sadness about physical injuries of the past, physical pains in the past. I give myself permission to release the sadness. I give myself permission to release sadness about aches and pains in the present or future or the past. I give myself permission to release sadness about aches and pains in the past, present, or future. I release sadness about aches and pains and injuries of the past, present, or future. I release this sadness, this sadness, this sadness, this sadness. Okay, so because I've had several sighs, I'm going to check in again with my shoulder blade. I don't have a restriction in this feeling. Wow. It's actually feeling quite a bit better. There's a little bit of impingement when I reach up. There's a little tension in my neck, so I'm going to continue tapping about that. Even though there's a little bit of impingement when I reach up, and I deeply love and accept myself. Even though there's a little tension in the side of my neck on the left side, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though there's still a little impingement when I reach up, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though there's still a little impingement when I reach up, I deeply love and accept myself. Some impingement when I reach up. This remaining impingement in my left shoulder blade. I'm hanging on to something. Something about sadness. Sadness about injuries. The sadness. The sharp, acute sadness. The sadness I'm holding in my shoulder blade. The sadness that I'm holding in my shoulder blade. The sadness that I'm holding in my shoulder blade. The sadness about injury and pain and aches and growing older. The sadness about growing older. Sadness about my body growing older and feeling more vulnerable. Feeling more vulnerable to aches and pains. More vulnerable to aches and pains. Or maybe not. Maybe I just think that's the way it's supposed to be when you get older. And therefore that becomes my reality. What if I'm not more vulnerable to aches and pains just because I'm becoming older? Maybe I'm not more vulnerable to aches and pains. Maybe I just think that's true. Whew, that's a powerful idea, and that's why it is true. This lesson in my shoulder blade, causing me to challenge an old belief. This lesson in my shoulder blade, causing me to challenge an old belief. A belief that doesn't serve me. A belief that doesn't serve me. I think I'm supposed to be old and have aches and pains. Isn't that a silly idea? I think I'm supposed to be old and have aches and pains. That's a silly idea. That's a silly idea. I release my body's obligation to have aches and pains just because I'm getting older. I release my body's obligation, the command that I gave to it, to have aches and pains just because I'm getting older. I release my body of the obligation from that silly belief that I'm supposed to have aches and pains when I get older. Oh, silly me. What a silly idea. What a painful idea. Why did I accept that? Why did I accept that? Why did I accept that as truth? I don't want that to be my truth. I don't want that to be my truth. I want my body to be resilient and vibrant and strong. Resilient and vibrant and strong. Resilient and vibrant and strong as I age. My body is resilient and vibrant and strong as I age. More of that, please. Top of the head. More of that, please. More of that, please. More of that, please. Resilient and vibrant and strong and flexible. Resilient, vibrant, strong and flexible. Resilient, vibrant, strong. Ooh, energetic, 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 and healthy. Energetic and healthy. See how I'm at the end of the tapping, or near the end of the tapping, I'm adding on positive statements. I'm tapping those in, that as we clear the pain, we're tapping about the desired state. Change our resilient, energetic, strong, healthy, resilient, energetic, strong, healthy. Okay, let's check in. Wow, wow, it's a lot. Wow, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. So anyhow, thank you for allowing me to tap away this sharp pain in the left side of my shoulder blade. And I hope you got a chance to tap along and got some ideas for how to tap for yourself on different physical challenges. So much love and abundance. Thank you.